Welcome into the Grind. It's a college football podcast. 3 to 3, Jimmy G. And
What's up, buddy?
dude, it is playoff. It's almost playoff time. I'm pretty pumped.
Sure is. It
It's
sure
our
is,
time.
buddy. I'm pumped for
I
you.
got my It's our time college football playoff shirt. Super excited about that going on January 1st. Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl. First, let's talk about what do you think about the bowl games so far?
Man, I think it's been a lot of some of them, no surprises. Like, didn't think, I thought Tech was the better team than Cal, and Tech just rolled them.
Yeah.
And then some close calls. Duke, Troy. We were on Troy.
That was a good game.
Duke wins by 7. Dude, the one that was crazy to me was Utah.
Yeah, dude.
Utah Northwestern. I thought,
I started
and
feeling bad.
golly,
We both had Utah. I started feeling bad about a couple of days before that, and I'd already placed a bet, and I thought about just hedging. But because I heard all this stuff about Northwestern was really motivated to win that game. And so I started getting worried about it. And of course, Northwestern won.
Mm-hmm. And I
Because you
just
remember
thought,
all the stuff that happened in Northwestern, they had to fire the coach
Yeah.
like in August. So they were
hazing,
they basically
all
didn't
that
have
stuff.
they basically had 0 opt-outs. It was super important to them, and that's what happens in those bowl games. The craziest game to me was when Old Dominion was up 35 points. They were up 35-0 and then lost to Western Kentucky.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that was a terrible one. The most memorable one for me has got to be the Pop-Tarts Bowl. K-State over NC State. The Pop-Tarts, They were all in on marketing. They have gotten so much marketing publicity with that Pop-Tart mascot. And do you see him? He went into the big toaster they had on the field after the game, went in it, and then came out as a cake.
Delicious. Dude, and the trophy's got 2 slots at the top for Pop-Tarts. So I'm like, I'm all in on the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Pop-Tarts Bowl might be my favorite non-New Year's Six bowl.
I saw a great meme. It was the Pop-Tart mascot and the Duke's Mayo, 2 of the greatest marketing campaigns when it comes to these bowl games. And it was basically like Barbie versus Oppenheimer, like it was back in the summer.
That's funny.
If I did a bowl, I would market just like I think Duke's Mayo and I think Pop-Tarts did a tremendous job of marketing their product for these bowl games.
I definitely prefer, because I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like Miracle Whip. You can mix it in stuff, but I'm not a guy who puts it on a sandwich.
See, I love it. I'm all in. I'm all in on it.
But the end of the Duke's Mayo Bowl, getting that mayonnaise dumped on you, I'd rather, you lost me there.
First of all, I do love mayonnaise. I eat it on my burgers and my sandwiches, but I do not want a tub of mayonnaise dumped on me. No, but the marketing they get from it, though.
I mean, that'd be terrible. Just awful. So,
it's all over the internet when they dump that tub. So I think those 2 guys, great at marketing the bowl games.
Trey, back to what you said about the motivated to win. A lot of these games, Vautech, Tulane, I think Vautech was more motivated than Tulane to win. Tulane's been on the cusp of really, and I'm sure in their mind, breaking into the playoffs, New Year's Six Bowl for a while. Every other game, it seems like that was motivated to win. Oklahoma State, A&M.
Yes.
I knew Oklahoma State would be more motivated.
Yes.
Arizona, Oklahoma. So yeah, I think that's Texas State, Rice.
Dude, what about Oklahoma? 6 turnovers. Jackson Arnold in his debut, 4 interceptions and a fumble. He had 5. And what's crazy is Oklahoma scored 24 unanswered in the second quarter. And then they ended up getting beat by 2 touchdowns. It's just a turnover fest. The Jackson Arnold kid showed a great arm, showed why he's a good athlete. His just decision-making. I think what happens, I saw somebody on Twitter posted this, and I think it's accurate. When these young guys that have really strong arms, they wait too long to throw the football because they can get away with their strong arm. But when you're playing college defenses, good teams, Arizona's a very good team, won 10 games and a loaded Pac-12. You can't wait that long to throw the football. You can't rely on your arm strength like that. So he's got to get better at reading defenses and throwing it sooner. But I think the talent was there. But 5 turnovers in your debut,
Mm.
that's rough.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
But I had Arizona, so
But we won that
that's
bet. We
fine.
both had Arizona -3, so I ain't mad at it.
I was
So
fine with that. So
Friday games, Clemson, Kentucky, Oregon State, Notre Dame, or Oregon State, Notre Dame is basically the opt-out bowl. Both teams are suffering a lot of opt-outs and transfers. Memphis, Iowa State, and then the first New Year's Six bowl is the Cotton Bowl Friday night. You got Missouri against Ohio State. Ohio State starting a new quarterback. Um, what do you think about this Missouri Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl?
man, I think this one's gonna go. Missouri's killing it right now.
Their NIL
Um,
game, they got some NIL money that they are not afraid to spend.
dude, they're using it. They're recruiting really well. Dinkowitz, whatever his name is, um, Eli D's really got Missouri. There, he's one of those coaches. It seems like players want to go play for.
Yeah,
So Missouri's in a good spot. I think this could be a trap game for Ohio State, because this is a game, like you said, like
I agree.
Ohio State loses their quarterback. Hey, they're going to have opt outs. This is going to be huge. This is way more important for Missouri than it is Ohio State. I think Missouri is going to use this. If they win this, it'll be huge for recruiting. So I think Missouri is going to come out just like a cat on fire, just going 90-0 and trying to just blow out Ohio State. And even though, like I said, it's not the Ohio State team that played Michigan, it'll still be Ohio State. So yeah, I'm really excited about that game because I want to see how that one turns out.
Yep. Then on Saturday, you got the Peach Bowl, Ole Miss, Penn State, Orange Bowl, Georgia, Florida State. I mean, who the heck is showing up for that game? Florida State's basically boycotting it. Georgia is now a 20-point favorite. That one could get rough. New Year's Day, Wisconsin LSU play in the ReliaQuest Bowl, the Fiesta
Mhm.
Bowl at noon, Liberty, Oregon. Oregon's still 17-point favorite. Citrus Bowl is Iowa, Tennessee. And then let's talk about the college football playoff. The granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, features number 1 Michigan against number 4 Alabama. This line has been all over the place. Last night it was 1.5 Michigan. Now it's back to 2. Michigan favored by 2. Jimmy, let's break this game down. Give me your thoughts. Michigan against Alabama.
I tell you, I would not, and you saw it on their face when they announced it. I would not want to play Alabama. Alabama, arguably the hottest team coming into bowl season in the nation. The way that they took that just ass beating from Texas and used that as a launching point. And like we said, I would not want to be an Alabama football player that Sunday or especially that Monday at practice because of how bad Nick Saban was going to chew them after that Texas loss. And they have used that and use it to just catapult themselves into the playoffs. I mean, going into that Georgia game, it would have been like, yeah, they're pretty hot, but it's Georgia. Just they looked like the dominant team against Georgia. And so if I'm Michigan, I'm worried because you give Nick Saban this long and they're going to be ready to play. And Milroe looks like he's, last several weeks he's found his groove. So if you're Michigan, you got to hope that one, this doesn't affect you, but you got to hope that time off kind of allows the big machine, the
Yeah.
big red Crimson Tide machine to sort of get locked up, maybe get some rust going, get them out of their rhythm. Because if
Yeah.
not, there's a good chance they will come out
Well,
and beat you. It'd be a 10-point game.
when I look at this game, to me, Michigan, of the 4 teams in the playoff, Michigan by far is the best defense. They have the best
Mm-hmm.
defense. They have the best secondary. They are,
Mm-hmm.
they are great in the secondary. They're really physical, especially if the refs let them play. Michigan can get away with a lot. In the Big Ten, they do let them get pretty physical. So it depends on physical. But I think Michigan, by far, of the 4 teams, has the best defense. But I also think of the 4 teams, they by far have the worst offense. If they can't run the football, I mean, I don't know. JJ McCarthy is not as good as he was last year. He just has not been. They haven't relied on as much. They've really been run reliant with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, and it's worked for them. They do have some weak points at tackles. They're missing one of their best offensive linemen is out. So they've shuffled it around and it made them a little weaker on the tackles. So if they can't run the football on Alabama, is JJ Carthy really going to be able to beat them? And on the flip side, Alabama hasn't faced a quarterback like Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe in the passing game, if he has to make the reads intermediate games, which Texas really tried to make him do, he's not as good. He's late. He throws it low. He throws interceptions, but he can throw the deep ball. He is really good at the deep ball. He's accurate with the deep ball, and then his mobility to run. Michigan has not faced a guy with his athleticism. I think Nick Saban, this might go down as maybe his best coaching season in his career because this team, as we saw in week 2, that's not a college football playoff caliber team. It just wasn't. And the fact now they are. The fact that they go in and handle Georgia, leave no doubt. I mean, this might be his best, and they're getting better. I just don't think preseason I had Michigan. I do not feel confident about that after breaking this thing down. I think Alabama, who is getting points, I think they're the better football team, and we'll see how that plays out. Game 2, playoff, Sugar Bowl, number 2, Washington, number 3, Texas. Michael Penix, and it's just what I just said about Michigan. It's the flip for Washington. They're by far the best offense of the 4 teams in the playoffs, but they're by far the worst defense of anybody in the playoffs. Even though one thing they've done well on defense is interceptions. They have the 3rd most interceptions in the country. They have 16 interceptions on defense. Their defensive line, not stout. You can really bully them. I could see Texas getting big personnel and really trying to run the football as they did against Alabama. But also Steve Sarkisian with a month and with Ewers playing his best ball the last 2 games against Tech and Oklahoma State. I can see Texas scoring a lot of points, but I can see Washington also scoring a lot of points. But one thing everybody talks about, all the pundits on TV, they're talking about, well, it's a mismatch because Texas, especially their safety secondary, they've given up a lot of yards to the passing game. And Michael Penix he's an NFL quarterback with 3 NFL receivers. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But you're forgetting the flip side. You also got Quinn Ewers with 3 NFL targets, 2 receivers in Mitchell and Worthy, and then the tight end Sanders. Washington's defense is terrible. They're like 105th in the country total defense or passing, in passing game. Texas has like the 92nd passing game. I mean, Quinn Ewers just as easily can light them up, just like Michael Penix could light Texas up, but you're only hearing about the Texas side of it. So I don't know. We'll see your thoughts, but I think this is going to be a pretty entertaining game back and forth. I think Texas is top to bottom more talented, but I will say I think Michael Penix, who's the quarterback for Washington, he's the most talented. He's the quarterback, most talented on the field. So, I mean, that gives Washington an advantage right there. But what are your thoughts, Texas, Washington?
I think I agree with you. Texas, to me, top to bottom, is the more talented team, and I don't think it's close. People go, "Oh, come on now, that's crazy." I think Washington is a more well-oiled machine. Washington reminds me of like a flock of birds or a school of fish, where you see them and they all move.
Yeah,
They're they're a well-oiled machine. They're well
yes.
coached. They all know that they do their job, execute it. Like I said, they just thought everybody's moving the same direction. They don't have somebody, going this way or that way. To me, this is going to come down to the Texas pass rush. Can they bother
Yes.
Michael Penix? Because you give Michael Penix time, yes, Michael Penix is going to pick you apart because he's so accurate downfield, throws maybe the best deep ball, if not one of the best, if not the best deep ball in college football. Like you said, to those NFL receivers. I think it's going to come down to that pass rush for Texas. And then on the backside, I think Texas offensive line is going to give Ewers as much time as he wants. It's going to be, can Ewers, is Ewers going to try to do too much? Or let's hand it off. Let's rely on the run game. Let's just bully him up front. Like you said, I think if I'm Washington, I'm going, we've got to make Quinn Ewers try to beat us, which is
Yeah. And
dangerous.
that's what Oklahoma did
Crazy.
in Texas, one loss. That's what Oklahoma did. And Ewers had great stats except for one key stat. He had 3 turnovers, 2
Mm-hmm.
interceptions, and a fumble. And so the one game Texas lost is because Ewers turned the ball over. Didn't turn the ball over multiple times in any other game.
That's my game plan. Is I'm going, we got to let Ewers beat us, because if Texas is able to establish the run game, Washington's not going to be able to kind of crowd the box. They're not going to be able to do a lot of stuff they like to do on defense, because they're going to have to respect the run and account for it. And that's when you can see Ewers, like you said. I mean, Worthy. I mean, God, Mitchell.
Mitchell.
That Mitchell kid might be. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is great, but that Mitchell kid is unreal, just
Yeah.
unreal.
This
Worthy,
is a
Sanders, and Mitchell.
this
So
is a great
yeah,
wide receiver game. Like this is the
it is.
talent. I mean, throwing Sanders, the tight end for Texas, in as the wide
Mhm.
receiver. I mean, you have 6 legitimate pass catchers, NFL pass catchers in this game that are, and
Catch and go too.
all 6 are
That
going to be taken in the first 3 rounds.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, dude, what weapons? They talk about Brock Bowers, but Sanders, man, Sanders is a huge weapon too. So that to me is what it's going to come down to. Texas's ability to make Michael Penix uncomfortable. Because with Texas, I think Texas has the advantage on the defensive line.
yeah,
I don't think Washington will be able to
run the
run the
ball, but
football
they
like
won't
they
even
want.
try. I don't think they'll even
Yeah.
try.
I mean, they'll probably try
Do
just to try to mix it
well
in
just
to
to
try to
do it,
keep
but
Texas
yeah,
honest, but I don't think it'll be successful. It will be, can Texas get to Michael Penix, get him on the ground, or make him hurry, so he doesn't have time to go through his progressions. And then from the backside is what Quinn Ewers shows up. If it's anything like lately, it's going to be an excellent Quinn Ewers, very good Quinn Ewers shows up. So yeah,
yeah.
that to me is the matchup that I'm looking
And
for.
Steve Sarkisian has been on. I mean, he's been had
Mm-hmm.
his best as a play caller the last 2 games. Texas Tech, Texas wins 57-7. Oklahoma State, they scored 49. I mean, the play calling Texas last 2 games, Steve Sarkisian is peaking, and that's what gives you hope. I mean, all to wrap this up, all 4 teams. This is going to be such a good playoff because you could make a case for all 4 teams winning the national championship. We already talked about Washington. If they win, well, Michael Penix, those receivers were unstoppable. I mean, they just took off. If Michigan wins, well, their defense, you couldn't score on their defense, and their
Mm-hmm.
offense controlled the game, and they were able to run the football. If Alabama wins, well, it's Nick Saban, Jalen Milroe did what he had to do. The defense did what they had to do. If Texas wins, well, the defensive line's the best defensive line in the country, and Quinn Ewers and those weapons and Sarkisian, you couldn't stop. I mean, you could
Yep.
make a case for all 4 teams to win the national championship.
Yeah. Yeah, you can, and like you said, this has been a great year for the 18 playoff as well.
Yeah.
Just to see, because I want to see Georgia in there.
Yeah,
I want to see
because
what Georgia.
we talked all year. Georgia might be the best team. Everybody talked about
Yep.
Florida State. I mean, yeah, throw Georgia, and I'd like to see how Oregon would do against anybody else besides Washington.
Yeah.
Get Florida State in there.
Yeah. You get Florida State in there just to be like, we let you in. Yeah, sure, you didn't have your quarterback, but you're in, and they'd probably get beat. But
I
at
wouldn't be
least you can say they're in.
surprised if Georgia would end up winning the whole thing. You
Yeah.
know, like this would be a perfect year for the 12-team
Mm-hmm.
playoff. All right, it's going to be a great time. College football playoff Monday,
Yeah, it is.
January 1st. We will have a show the week after breaking down the playoffs and then previewing the national championship. And then our final college show will happen after the national championship. We might even do a live show maybe to wrap it up, give people to watch and
Nice.
play that one. Yeah. So after this show, 2 more college shows on the year, one after the playoff and then another after the national championship. Anyway, let's move on to questions of the week. We got 2 questions of the week. You can email us, gridirongrindsports@gmail.com, or you can comment on our videos, DM us on Twitter, X, or Instagram. The first question, Jimmy, both questions I believe have to do with the college football playoff. The first one comes from Scott from Melissa, Texas. He sent this via the Twitter X, DM'd us.
Okay.
He says, boys, Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports bet $1 million on Michigan to beat Alabama.
Dude, I saw that. That's
If
wild.
you had that much money, who are you betting $1 million on? By the way, Portnoy said that was his highest bet ever. His highest bet before was 500,000. Michigan, $1 million on Michigan to beat Alabama is his biggest bet of all time. So if you had $1 million, Jimmy, who you betting on?
Probably Georgia money line, because I think Florida State has just they're trying to sue the ACC. They're not worried about football. I think Kirby Smart still is going, guys. Let's got a game to play. You guys want to go play at the next level? Let's go out here. Let's donkey stomp this Florida State team, and let's put some good stuff on tape. Let's finish out this year with a win. I think Kirby Smart's got Georgia in the right headspace. Yeah, they're disappointed, but we got to move on. I feel like Kirby Smart's a good guy. Say, hey, yeah, you know what? We're not in the playoff. We got to move on. Task at hand. So yeah, I'd probably bet $1 million on Georgia money line, and I don't even know what that would be.
Not a great return.
Going,
it would not be a great return. It's
I'm sitting here going, if I had $1 million,
-13.10.
I would not want to lose it. So
I'm
going to try to bet on the team that I think is going to win. So I would bet Georgia.
It's minus.
Now, if we're talking like against the spread type something,
the Georgia one money line would be minus 1,300. So if you were to bet $1 million, let's just put that in. You'd only, let's see, 1,000. So if you bet 100,000, it's 76.92. If you bet 100,000. So if you bet, what is that? If you bet $1 million, you're only going to get like 70,000 profit.
Yeah. So if we're talking like against the spread, I might, if we're talking, let's not do money line, Tennessee. I don't think Iowa can score.
Okay.
Their offense is anemic.
So Tennessee -6.
-6. Do $1 million on that. Because Heupel's another one. Tennessee, I think.
That's true. And Tennessee has a good defense.
Good defense. I don't think Iowa could score. $1 million on Tennessee -6.
I like that.
What about you?
If I had $1 million, I mean, obviously the fan of me would want to put it on Texas to win the national championship, but would be the safest with my $1 million? No, even though the return is plus 260.
Pretty good.
I mean, that is pretty good. I'd probably put on Alabama as of right now, Alabama's plus 210 to win it all. I'd probably put it on Alabama to win it all. Plus 210 if I had $1 million. So that means I would get back $2 million. I'd win $2 million. You're trying to protect your $1 million. I'm sitting here thinking, why not double it? Why not triple it? I mean, because I'd get $2 million on top of getting my $1 million back.
There we go.
That's probably what I would do.
That's a great question.
I'd probably go with Alabama plus 210 to win it all. Thanks for that question, Scott from Melissa. Great question.
All right, Creta, this next one's from you. This comes from Gary from Trenton. We got this one via email. Said on the preseason show, excuse me, Jimmy picked Texas to make the playoff. And Creta said if Texas won the Big 12, made the playoff, he'd probably drown in Shinerbach. What is the over-under on the amount of Shinerbach Creta drinks this week as he pre-games for the Texas game?
Oof. A lot. I don't know.
How many beers is in that little Shiner keg?
Yeah, it depends. I don't have one of those, but I don't know. I definitely would do one of those. Wouldn't be a problem. Sam's sells it in is it 18 or 24? So 24. So I'm actually heading to Sam's after we record this to stock up for the weekend. I'm gonna do some grilling, some smoking some meats, and buy my Shinerbach.
So the Shinerbach keg holds 14 beers.
So if you're looking at, we're talking about the whole weekend. And honestly, of all the days, Monday, I have a pretty big day work-wise on the 2nd that I have to be. I have a couple meetings. Luckily, they're not until the afternoon. But I got to be at work, 8 o'clock on Tuesday the 2nd. So most of my Shinerbach on Monday, the first, it'll probably be completed by kickoff. And I don't know how much I'll actually partake on Monday. I will have a few for sure.
Let's say you didn't have to go to work.
Oh, if I didn't have to go to work on the second,
So you
I'd
didn't have to
have
go to work on the second.
I would probably have of Shiner Box, you'd have to put the over under at 30, right? If you did 24 of those bottles and you did a keg holds 14, what is that, 38?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I didn't have to go to work on the second, I think you'd have to put the over under at 30 Shiners on
I think
Monday.
so for the week and that weekend. And so what about the game?
For the
Let's just say
weekend,
the game.
since I have to work on the second, yeah, it's not going to be a lot
Take
on
work out
Monday.
of it. Take work out of it. Just the day
Okay.
alone, just for the Texas game.
If I didn't
Let's
have to
just
work,
take
we're
that
talking
day.
about Texas, the college football playoff, and I'm at
Yep.
home and I'm not having to
You're at home.
pay a high price for beers.
Yep. Don't have to work.
Well, that's what I'm
Don't have
saying.
to
I
work.
think it would be just during the game itself.
Just during the game. Just during the game.
I mean, it'd be a lot because what happens is you know, how people are nervous eaters. I'll be
Yeah.
nervous. I'm a nervous drinker. Like it'll
Mhm.
be, I just drinking them like water, getting
Me too.
nervous. But what
It's
it
like
ends
it's
up,
like a delayed drunk too. Like
and it's yes,
I'll be at the
yes,
Razorback game and I'll be going down and buying beers, buying whatever. And it's like a delayed, and then all of a sudden it's like the switch flips and it hits. I'm
yeah.
with you. I'm a
But see,
nervous drinker.
and that's usually when I stop. It's usually when I
Mhm.
stop, start drinking some water, and then I'm only have a couple after that. Dude, for the game itself, just when definitely over 12. I mean, probably at least 12.
I was
It's
thinking
usually
18.
yeah, it might be 18, probably 12 for. I mean, it would be yeah, just during the game because I get animated, I get up, I get excited, and it's like I just start nervous drinking. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, I
So
do. Yep.
it would be a lot, but it won't be like that this year because I got to get up and go to be productive and make sure I'm up in time for work. So I probably on the day will probably only drink 12 the whole day. I'll
That's
probably
good.
do
Proud of you.
probably will have 6 in the afternoon during the Alabama Michigan game. Probably do 6 first half of the Longhorn game, and then I'll probably call it quits.
Proud of you.
Just do water second half. Make sure I'm productive and ready to go for the second. That's great question though. I guess we can chart it. And we'll let you know. I'm gonna go to Sam's. We'll chart and see how the Shine Mountain Charter I drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
I like it.
Okay, that's what we'll do. All right, great question, Gary from Trenton and Scott from List. 2 great questions. We'll love having those questions. Again, email us gridirongrindsports@gmail.com. And you can comment on our videos or DM us Twitter, X, Instagram. By the way, all the beer drinking talk, there'll be no driving in any of that. Just so drink responsibly.
Nor should there be.
Yeah, if we do that, I'll be at home for good. We'll not be leaving. So don't drink and drive. And if you're going to drink responsibly. Bowl bets. Time for our picks or the final segment. And we, on our last show 2 weeks ago, we gave 10 games apiece, and we both went 6-4 apiece on those 2. So that brings our season total. I'm at 32-30. Jimmy, 34-38. And we are going to pick today all the way through the college football playoff on the 1st, and then we'll have some picks next week for the national championship game. But this one gets you from Friday the 29th through Monday the 1st. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8, Jimmy. I have 8.
I have 5.
Okay.
Maybe 6. I don't know. Depends on how I feel.
All right, well, I'll start. Friday night game. It's the Cotton Bowl, Missouri, Ohio State. I'm going over 49. I think 49 is a low number for this game in the 40s. Missouri has a dynamic offense with Brady Cook, Luther Burton, the quarterback. I think they can score. I think they're going to try to score. I think Ohio State has some opt-outs, but I think that Ohio State's going to want to win this football game, and I think they're going to have to score points to do that. 49 is only 7 touchdowns. We can get 7 touchdowns in a field goal, 8 touchdowns. I mean, I think both teams get upper 20s or low 30s, and that gets us a win. So give me Missouri, Ohio State over 49.
I had that same bet for the same reason. Like I said, we talked about it. This is a big game for Missouri. Um, they're going to use this as huge recruiting. I
Yeah.
mean, this is one of those. It's not gonna. It's one of those like Ohio State's not going to gain too much out of beating Missouri. Missouri has everything to gain beating Ohio State, and yeah, I think they're going to try to put up points to prove a message. Look, this is one of the best teams in the country. Look at what we can do. Look what we're building here in Columbia. So yeah, I had the same thing over 49, and
I like
I
that.
don't think we might be pushing it in the first half.
Yeah, I think we're going to score some points Friday night. Saturday, Ole Miss, Penn State. I got Ole Miss plus 4.5. I think that's too many points. Ole Miss might win the football game outright. Love Ole Miss plus 4.5.
I have that one too. I think Ole Miss does win it outright. Lane Kiffin's another one. Kiffin's he's a transfer portal destination, same as Missouri seemingly now. And yeah, I think this is a statement game for Ole Miss. So yeah, at Ole Miss plus 4.5.
I like that. Saturday night, I'm going Wyoming -3 over Toledo. Wyoming's their legendary coach, Craig Bowl. It's his final game in his history. He's been coaching, forever. Forever. It's his final game. Wyoming, good team, had a good season. They're not losing this game. Toledo's good too. Wyoming's going to win this game. Got to lay the points. Give me Wyoming -3.
Same game, different direction.
Okay.
Toledo +3. Give me Toledo. I think Toledo, like you said, Wyoming's coach. Wyoming's going to have all the motivation,
Sure.
but I think at the end of the day, Toledo +3.
Toledo might be
They
the better
may
team. Toledo might be the better team.
Wyoming may win the game, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
And Toledo +3. Give me the points.
Okay, Monday. I have 5 on Monday. We'll start off Wisconsin, LSU. Give me over 55.5. LSU might cover that themselves. I think they're all playing. I haven't heard anybody not playing for LSU.
Right.
So I think that LSU is going to score a ton of points, and their defense isn't good either. So they're going to give up some points. Give me Wisconsin, LSU over 55.5.
I like it. Staying with Monday. Liberty, Oregon, over 67.
Love it.
Over 67. I think this game is going to be in the 40s and 30s type deal. Oregon, this is one of those games. Oregon, they're going to use this to build recruiting. Liberty and put up points. Oregon, I think just that offense too dynamic for Liberty to stifle. So give me over 67, Liberty and Oregon.
I'm also on that one as well. Liberty, Oregon State over 67. I agree with you. It's going to be very high scoring. Oregon's going to score a lot of points. Another game for Monday. I have Iowa +7 against Tennessee. I don't know if I love that one. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch that. Let's switch it up. I'm switching it. And the line's changed. So as we are looking, you said that earlier about Tennessee. You're willing to put $1 million on Tennessee to win, and I'm checking the line. It is -6. So we have alert a Creta flip. Tennessee -6. I'm taking Tennessee -6 against Iowa.
Same thing with me. Tennessee -6. I don't think Iowa can score. Iowa might get something. Tennessee, good defense of their own. Iowa may have the best defense in the nation, but their offense is awful. And Tennessee's isn't. So Tennessee -6. I love it.
Okay. Great bets. All right. I got 2 left. Both playoff games. I'm going Alabama money line. It's +105 on the money line. So if you bet $100, you would win 105. Michigan is favored by 2, but I'm taking Alabama to win outright. Give me Alabama Crimson Tide money line. I know I had Michigan preseason favorite. I'm moving off of that. I think Alabama is going to beat Michigan. So give me Alabama money line.
Give me Alabama +2.
I'm going to take it. All right.
I'm going to, this goes back to that $1 million bet.
Thing.
Exactly. That goes back to that $1 million. Like, you're trying to double it. I'm trying to, kind of protect it. And that's what I'm doing here. We're going worst case scenario.
Take the two.
Michigan's kicker kicks one, they win by 1, something like that. But I think Alabama's going to win it outright. But just to be safe, give me Alabama +2.
That's the smarter thing to do. All right, last one. Sugar Bowl, some Monday night, late start too. Man, I got to get up early, go to work on Tuesday the 2nd, but 7:45 Central kick. I mean, this game is getting over at 11:30. So if we win, I'm going to be ecstatic, but I got to find a way to go to bed. And same thing if Texas loses, I'm going to be so mad. I have to find a way to go to bed. It'll be worse if they lose because then I'm like, well, I got work tomorrow, I'm going Washington +4. Here's why. I think Texas wins the game, but I think +4 is too many points. I think this is going to be a very good game. I think it's going to go back and forth. I think Michael Penix and those receivers are elite. I think they're going to score a lot of points. This is going to be a close game. I mean, Washington could win the game outright. And 4 is a lot. I mean, what if Texas wins by a field goal? So I'm going Washington +4. I think is the better bet here. Washington +4.
That's a good bet. That's a good bet. I'm on this game as well. And I'm on it going the other way. Give me Texas -4. Okay. I think Texas pulls away late. I think Washington, they maybe Penix tries to really force something, gets them in a bad turnover late. Texas still with the foot on the pedal because I think they're going to use that momentum to carry them into the national championship game. And I think a late score causes this one to go over the -4. So give me Texas -4.
I would love every minute of it. And like I said, I'll bet. I'll pay for a win. I'll pay for a win. So that'll do it for our show. Thanks for joining us. Gridiron Grind College Football Pod. Be a great weekend of college football. We will see you next week after the playoffs. Thanks for joining us. See you then. Hook 'em horns, baby.
See you, buddy.